MPP moves to avert another damaging breakaway following Alan Chamanting's exit and has tonight compelled all four aspirants contesting its presidential primary to sign an undertaking not to resign from the party if they lose on Saturday.
In the event that they don't win, they will not resign from the party. 4, to support the winner of the primary.
But can this be enforced? We have details on Top Story.
This is Top Story with Evans Mensah.
And Top Story is always brought to you by Vodafone. And this is your election headquarters. Election headquarters is brought to you by Petrosol, your clean fuel in full quantity. Petrosol, always a delightful experience. And we are counting down to Saturday. And the governing New Patriotic Party has tonight moved to avert another damaging breakaway. The party was dealt a significant blow when former Trade and Industry Minister Alan Chamanting resigned after he came third in the Superdelegates Conference. Tonight, determined to avoid the same fate post the presidential primary this Saturday, the MPP has convinced all four contestants in the race this time to sign an undertaking not to resign if they lose. Listen to the General Secretary of the party, Justin Kodia-Frimpong, addressing the news conference earlier.
We're able to get the 4 aspirants contesting, namely Honorable Kennedy Japan, His Excellency Dr. Alhaji Mohammed Baumia, Dr. Akutoi and Honorable Adenimo, all signing an undertaking. And in summary, what they signed to, and I'll read to all of you. 1 is to accept the primary election results. 2, to promote peace and cohesion. 3, in the event that they don't win, they will not resign from the party. 4, to support the winner of the primary. 5, to ensure and enforce mechanism that has been established by the party, and also to work within the timelines and duration that has been established by the party from now to the results are declared, and to respect the decision by the delegates of our party. And these are the signatures of the aspirants who came for the meeting.
My colleague Samuel Mbura was at the press conference called by the party and joins me live in the studio. You've been probing this further. What was the answer when you asked if this MOU was binding?
Well, this particular question was directed to the chairman of the MPP Elections Committee, Professor Mike Ironokwe, because on the back of Alan breaking away from the party, we didn't see the party taking him on, although they signed to an earlier MOU before the Superdelegates Conference. However, Professor Mike Ironokwe is just a moral undertaking they have taken.
We are always upping our game and making things better and better. You were asking whether it is legally binding or not. Society is not ruled by legally binding laws alone. We are ruled by ideas, beliefs, values, morals, that which is excellence, that which is noble. These are all part of the values that from our mothers up to whatever stage we gain in society. So they are morally binding, and we expect that all these gentlemen understand the full parameters of such an agreement. Nevertheless, it can be a standard of measure of judging a person in the future, you entered into this gentleman's agreement, you broke it, today you have come to say what? So it's as binding as it can be binding on people who are civilized and who know what they are about.
And it is very obvious in Bura, is it not, that the party is extremely worried about further fractures within its ranks post the primary.
Exactly. That sentiment was expressed by the national chairman, Stephen Intim. He's appealing to all the aspirants to remain resolute and support anyone that will eventually win the elections.
The way forward for us to deal decisively with the widespread indiscipline, apathy, and general indifference in the party. I want to call specifically on the 4 flag bearer aspirants to commit to working as a team to ensure victory, even if they fail to win on Saturday, by rallying behind the eventual winner. On Saturday, it's a necessary condition for our success in 2024 because it has the effect of promoting unity and healing the wounds that the internal contest has opened up already. We must reconnect with our passion to serve, which was the driving force behind the exploits of our forebears. We must undertake to let go of personal differences and disagreements. In other words, we must each prioritize the larger interests of the party ahead of our heads and egos.
That is the national chairman of the NPP. Joining me right now is the general secretary of the NPP, Justin Kodia Frimpong. Thank you, sir, for your time here on Top Story.
Thank you, Evans.
Fair to say this MOU with the 4 aspirants has been inspired by Alan Chamantin's breakaway?
Well, first and foremost, let me greet your cherished listeners. If you listen to the pronouncement by the learned Professor Michael Irokwe, when one of your reporters asked him about what we intend to achieve from this MOU, he said we learn from previous experience. And as a party, from how we started the process in the special delegate elections, and the only thing that can happen is an improvement of what happened in the special delegate. So it's an attempt to make sure that we better what we did in the special delegate. That's what culminated for us to go this route.
And just for clarity, didn't Alan Chamanting sign a similar MOU together with the other 9 contestants in the special delegates conference?
Well, what I can state is that looking at the settings of what happened today, the setup, having the president being present, having the former president join us by Zoom, having the National Council of Elders, having the National Party, the Presidential Elections Committee, and the members of the National Council of Elders. I must say that this is different from what happened in the special delegate. And just as Professor Michael K. indicated, this is more of a moral obligation on the part of the aspirant. Nobody was coerced into signing the document. In fact, they even volunteered to sign at a point when we said that there was no need for us to sign the MOU. They insisted that they are prepared to sign. So that shows the commitment on the part of the aspirant to make sure that irrespective of the outcome on Saturday, they will continue to be members of our party and support whoever will emerge as winner in the election.
You intend to enforce this, and how?
Well, as again, the party as to how we can enforce, whether in the court of law or wherever. But what we are interested in is the commitment coming from the aspirant themselves, and that moral obligation for them to understand that this is an internal process. At the end of the day, it is the MPP that will be the victor. And, in politics, it works in cycle. And at the end of the day, you may feel that you may take an action that you cannot be questioned in the court of law. But tomorrow, who knows? Maybe you may come back to the party, you may need a favor from the party, you may want to contest again. The party will make reference to the undertaking that you signed, whether you adhered to it or did not. But I'm sure and I'm confident that looking at what happened today, none of the four will break away from the party.
And here's a question for you. I mean, they've seen Alan break away, although he signed one. Where's the deterrence there? The party hasn't done anything to attempt to even enforce what was signed before the Special Delegates Conference.
Well, because we can't apply in the court of law. As we've rightly stated, this is more of a moral obligation on the part of the aspirants.
Also today, you laid down the law about what should happen or shouldn't happen when voting starts. And you were very emphatic that you will not allow people to congregate. In fact, you have given instructions to the police to arrest people if they attempt to show how they voted.
Yes. And it's also taking a cue from what happened in the special delegate elections. The complaints and the comments that we had, at least whether those were reality or whether those happened or not, is something that we want to prevent in this election coming on this Saturday. And as we have indicated, the Ghana Police Service will be in charge of security in and around the perimeters. And should it be proven that indeed some people have tamped the delegates, it will be the duty of the Ghana Police Service to arrest those people, and also as a party, we will take disciplinary actions against anyone found in such an act.
What about proxy voters? That has been it's always triggered some form of controversy in the past. Have you resolved this, and what will happen? What are the modalities and protocols around this time?
Well, as a party, I don't think we have experienced that challenge. In the special delegate, we didn't experience any challenge of proxy voter being denied or having issues with it. With respect to proxy voters, we have 563, and we are very clear where they'll be voting. So there's not an issue in contention.
On Saturday, you've also given the supervision of the elections for the party structures, from what I listened to your constituency council of elders who will be chairing your elections committee there and will be representing yourselves from the national. You said no other party executive has any right to go close in terms of the organization. Has everybody accepted this structure?
Well, as you acknowledge that the presidential election committee cannot be at all the 277 polling centers, so definitely they need agents or reps to represent them at the various voting centers. And per our article in our constitution, Article 1311, it stipulates clearly those who have to form the electoral college. And unfortunately for us, Council of Elders at the constituency and Council of Patrons at the constituency will not be voting. So in that state, the Presidential Election Committee has mandated the chairperson of the Council of Elders at the constituency to chair the 3-member elections committee at the various polling centers, and the chairperson of the Council of Patrons becomes the deputy chair, and the constituency IT coordinator becomes the secretary. So these are the 3 people who are going to supervise the elections at the various polling centers. And let me hasten to say that on that day, with the exception of these 3 personalities that I've mentioned, the chairperson of the Council of Elders, the chairperson of the Council of Patrons, and the constituency IT coordinator, no other officer will have any direct role to play, to give instructions or to dictate to the Electoral Commission or the police what has to be done. If there are any issues at the polling center, the first point of call is to the 3 personalities that I have named. When the Electoral Commission or the police have any questions or any suggestions, these are the people that they will refer to. If aspirants have issues, these are the people that they will refer to. This is to ensure that there is orderliness at the voting center. So these are the directives from the Presidential Elections Committee, and this has been accepted by all the aspirants and the National Party also.
And finally, from what we've seen in the campaign leading up to Saturday, it's been very acrimonious. Accusations and counter-accusations. Today you sat in the room with them. They have also agreed in this MOU to work together, regardless of who wins. You look them in the eye. You believe they're being sincere to you?
Absolutely. Absolutely. For what happened today, it was very genuine. And I can tell you that the MPP will come out from this November 4th election more stronger. And as a party, we'll all be able to reconcile the rank and file for us to prosecute the agenda that lies ahead of us.
Thank you very much. That's the General Secretary of the MPP, Justin Kodia-Fimponda, talking to us about the press conference today and the preparations ahead of Saturday. Let me bring in lawyer Martin Kpebu, joins us on the telephone line right now. Martin, very quickly, the party admits that this MOU isn't legally binding, but if signed nonetheless, it's sort of moral suasion of a sort. From where you sit, of what effect is this?
Yes, so like they have rightly said, they recognize that it's just of a moral suasion. That's it, but not legally binding. So it means that they're just taking their chances that, okay, upon signing it, maybe the, contestants would abide by it, because they will tell you that a man's word is his bond. So that's what basically they are counting on, but not legally enforceable, especially as there are very weighty constitutional rights at play here. The right to contest the presidency of the country. It's a weighty constitutional right, and we need the best talent, especially in these times that we don't have the best of leadership. So it will be absurd for anyone to suggest that this MOU can be enforced in a court of law.
But generally, though, MOUs, are they typically enforceable in the court of law when you sign one?
No. So the starting point is that they are not enforceable. That's the starting point, but not always the end. So there are exceptions. So the thing is that as soon as you title it MOU, on the face of it, it belongs to the category that's not enforceable. But when the clauses are said that they are very clear and you put very binding clauses in there, they are enforceable. And so you even hear that to every rule there's an exception. Yeah, so it's very deceptive. The title alone doesn't determine that it is enforceable or not. It's actually what is put in there. If the provisions are very clear, very binding, and legally acceptable, then they will be binding.
Thank you very much. That offers some clarity for us, and that is Martin Kpebu. I want to bring in the representatives of some of the aspirants who were also in this meeting today. As you know, all four aspirants were there themselves, but we can bring in Samuel Wuku, who is a leading member of the Dr. Bawumia campaign team. Also joining us right now is Kenwood Nwosu, is a campaign spokesperson for Dr. Efria Koto, who is a former Agric minister. Both gentlemen join us on the telephone line right now. Thank you, gentlemen, for the time here on Top Story.
Thank you very much.
And I want to start with you, Kenwood Nwosu. Is it true that in this meeting, yourselves, the candidates, offered to sign this MOU?
Yeah, willingly. They indicated their commitment, to not only sign, but to commit to it. But it's one thing signing a memorandum of understanding, and another, adhering to it. At the end of the day, it's the role of all the stakeholders, particularly the elections committee, once they have shown fairness, and which they have displayed so far, it is now left with the rest of us, the delegates, particularly to also understand that, our leaders are committed to this, and we should also be responsible enough and, abide by the rules to make this MOU work.
Samuel, the party yourselves, you've been haunted by the ghost of Alan Chamanting. Isn't that what it is?
First of all, I am speaking for an aspirant, not speaking for the party, so for clarity. And then we're in this meeting, I was there together with the Vice President and our side. And just as Chairman Kenwood also stated, it's a political party. There's one thing signing and one thing committing. And I'm happy to say that the Vice President is fully committed to the very dictate and the text of what is contained in this MOU. We clearly believe that as a party, it's not all the time that things will go as you expect. But as Democrats and as party of choice, once you elect yourself to participate in this decision-making process, you first of all hand over your destiny and your fate into the hands of these delegates. And when they decide to favor you, you become victor. And when they do not, you also have to support your brother. You coalesce around the one who won, and then you also give that support and encouragement to your brother who emerged victorious. We are confident ahead of Saturday's polls that Dr. Bawumia will emerge as flag bearer of the MPP. And in the unlikely event that he does not emerge, he's still committed to supporting whoever emerges as flag bearer on Saturday.
Kewanu, also, you started by talking about the difference between signing and committing. Is Dr. Friakoto committed?
Very much committed. In fact, Evans, what transpired today at Aliza, my only regret is that we haven't, that was not captured, by the media. If that was captured by the media, it would have sent clear signals to our supporters down there that this party is very united, and the gentlemen who have offered themselves, to lead the party are real gentlemen and are committed to the unity and cohesion of our party.
But that all is dependent on how fair the process is on Saturday itself.
It is a process. We hope that during and after, there will be nothing untoward that would provoke people beyond, reasonable tolerance to want to do anything to undermine this memorandum or undermine the unity and cohesion of our party. This matter must continue to be trumpeted, until the process is over.
And the main concern from the other aspirants, and I want to ask your view on this going into this. We've had many of them say so. In fact, this week when I hosted Dynamo himself on my show, he also repeated it, that the concern is that the entire party machinery is being coerced in favor of one particular aspirant. Do you also share that view in your camp?
Well, it is obvious, but that might also be due to some other factors. Whipping people against establishment or creating, a picture of our, establishment, candidates has always been in politics. I saw it in 1998 and in 2008. And our president, Nanado, I was telling authorities that he was a beneficiary of an anti-establishment campaign.
Samuel Oku, give me a response to that.
First of all, you have to get people to speak on your behalf. And Evans, one person cannot be able to convince all the 204,000 delegates. What Dr. Bawumia and our side have been able to do quite extensively and very well crafted is our ability to have reached out to the key influencers of the party, members of parliament, constituency chairmen, electoral area coordinators, polling station executives who have become our canvassers and volunteers even in our darkest time when we are not present. And I think that your ability to reach out to these people...
Oh, apologies. We just lost them there on the telephone line. We'll try and get that for you as Samuel Oku finishes his submission. But as we speak and talking about the ghost of Alan Kyerematen haunting the MPP, he's been addressing a gathering today in the Ashanti region. And listen to what he's been talking about. He says the NPP and the NDC must both be kicked out. He says we must get rid of the MPP. And he's been speaking. I'll bring that to you pretty shortly here on Top Story, but also Newsnight. He's been addressing a rally there. He's talking about his own registration of his volunteers for the movement in the Ashanti region. I'm talking about the movement that he started and said that ending the continuous rule of both the MPP and NDC will bring some significant change into Ghana's governance system. He says the political fortunes of the country have remained significantly low due to the economic instability spearheaded by the MPP and the NDC. So he's choosing his day very carefully, a day just before the party starts distributing logistics across the country into Saturday, Alan Chamanting is making sure that he is in the headline, sharing the headline with the MPP, and his message is clear: get rid of the MPP and get rid of the NDC too. We'll be in Kumasi for you for that here on Joy 99.7 FM.